guys, it's Naseem here. Now, after using the Pixel 6 for about 7 months now, the one thing that kept coming to my mind whenever I was using it on a day-to-day basis was this one simple statement that I think explains the Pixel 6 pretty perfectly. And that statement is, I think that the Pixel 6 is the best mid-range phone in 2022. And I say this because the Pixel 6 is one of those phones that is good enough to compete with any other phone in this price range, while also being cheaper and having better build quality, software, and speed than its competition. The Pixel 6 has the smoothest software out of any Android phone in this category. It has a much more premium feel that is durable. It has a really great display that looks as good as any other flagship, and it has a great ecosystem within its apps that ensures easier use. And even though the 6 did have its problems when it came to bugs, its latest software updates have worked out those kinks and made the Pixel 6 as smooth as ever. And in this video, I wanted to give you guys my experience with it and show you why it can be a really good phone to buy in 2022. Now, the first thing that I wanted to look at when it comes to how the Pixel 6 holds up after 7 months was the display. Now, the Pixel 6 has a 6.4-inch OLED FHD display that I must say was one of the best displays that you can get on the phone when it comes to this price. I also love the fact that despite its lower price, Google still managed to put a 90 Hz refresh rate on it, which I will say was pretty amazing. Like right here, you can see me scrolling through the OS and it looks as smooth as ever. Doing simple things like going through my app manager and being on social media were much better than if it were 60 Hz. And speaking of the display, right here you can see that the colors are vibrant, the resolution was amazing, it didn't look too saturated, and the whole experience was much better than I expected. And to show you guys what I mean, I will be playing games and watching movies on the display.
The three-pointer comes up short. Butler gets his own rebound, throws it off the glass on the follow. Throws it ahead to Brown. Brown finds White. Alley-oop to Horford. Beautiful fast break execution. And a great job by Derek White. Boy, it was just fun to watch him play defense. Cuts to the basket, goes at Brown. Bank shot is good.
Now, the one problem that I had with the screen was that the brightness was severely lacking, especially when you compare it to Samsung, where all the screens managed to have the highest brightness. And whenever I was going to the gym, I would be outside on a very sunny day and would pull out my phone, and as soon as I turn the brightness all the way up, I still can't see as well, which was pretty underwhelming. The auto brightness was also something that didn't really work for me because whenever I was outside, the brightness would take a very long time to go up, and whenever I was inside, the brightness would take a very long time to go down, which was a pretty huge problem. And the last problem that I had with the screen was that the fingerprint sensor was definitely one of the worst that I had ever dealt with when it came to any other smartphone. Like right here, you can see that I had to hold my finger on the display for a longer period of time. It got much better over time, but it still wasn't that great. There were even some instances where I would hold my finger on the sensor and it couldn't even sense my finger, which again was very underwhelming. And even though there were some updates, I still feel like it's extremely slow when compared to any other smartphone. Now, the next thing that I wanted to look at when it comes to how the Pixel 6 holds up after 7 months of use was the software. And don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed the software on the Pixel 6, the apps, the customization, and the overall very smooth, clean aspect to it. But one thing I didn't enjoy at all was the minor bugs. And now, I don't know why, but the Pixel 6 was getting a lot of unnecessary bugs that I feel Google could have fixed with a simple update. Like for example, whenever I would go on my YouTube studio, I would refresh the page to see my channel stats, and every time I did this, the app would close and I would have to do it all over again. And also whenever I was on Instagram, I would refresh my timeline and to no surprise, the app would crash on me and I would have to boot it up again. But the worst part about all of this is the fact that this was a problem that had been happening to me for months before the latest update fixed it. And I was very disappointed with the way Google handled these bugs because a lot of people were having problems with them for so long, and Google failed to fix them in a short time, which means that they let the 6 and 6 Pro have a bad bug reputation. But besides the bugs and app crashes, I still really enjoyed my software on the Pixel 6. To me, it felt amazing because I was using all Google apps, and since they are all connected, I got a great ecosystem type of feel from them. Now, the next thing that I wanted to look at when it comes to how the Pixel 6 holds up after 7 months of use was the battery life. Now, I would usually get 4 to 5 hours of on-screen time, which was a pretty good usage to put a good strain on the battery. And I was doing things like watching movies, playing games, and planning out videos, which was pretty heavy use. And even after putting all that strain on the battery, I would end up with about 10% battery left, which wasn't as great, but still enough to get me through the night till I had a charger. And also take into consideration that I had the adaptive battery on, and it did adapt to how I use my phone. So there were a lot of times where my phone would drop to 60 Hz just to preserve battery life. And something else that I loved about the battery was the fact that it had pretty fast charging speeds. Like there were times where I forgot to charge my phone and had to charge it while I was getting ready for work. And it would take me about an hour and a half, and by the time I was done, my phone would be at 90%, which was just enough power to last me throughout the whole day. And now the last thing that I wanted to look at when it comes to how the Pixel 6 holds up after 7 months was the cameras. Now the camera on the Pixel 6 was easily my favorite thing that I loved about this phone. It has some of the best photos and really surprised me because this is a cheaper phone and it has a top tier camera. And when we look at the daytime outside photos, we can see that these were vibrant, colorful, sharp, and were able to catch my face very beautifully thanks to Google making their camera more compatible with people of color. And when we look at the inside daytime photos, we can see that the camera was still amazing, the colors were very accurate, my skin looked amazing, and they even brightened up the photos with less lighting. And now when we look at the nighttime outside photos, we can see that the sky still looked amazing, the colors of objects still looked amazing, and my skin tone still looked amazing, all while bringing in a great amount of light to help with the photo. And now when we look at the nighttime inside photos, I would say that even though this is the worst out of all the environments, it still looked pretty good given the environment. My skin looked okay, but could be better. The graininess was at an all-time high, but overall, it still was a pretty good picture. And when it came to video quality, I would say that the Pixel 6 was amazing. The videos were vibrant, sharp, and let a lot of light in. And to show you guys what I mean, here's some examples of different videos that I took. And there it is, you guys, my review on the Pixel 6 after 7 months of use. Now, let me know down below, do you think that the Pixel 6 is still a great phone to buy in 2022? Let me know. And if you guys made it to the end of this video, I would like to say thank you for sticking around. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe. It will be very appreciated. And as far as social media, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. And I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.